Chapter 2, Introduction. Mac T is a second-generation Chinese-Filipino minor league tycoon. He runs a business named the Mac Soap Company. This tycoon is married to another second-generation Chinese-Filipino named Chen. Cristal is deeply suspicious of her husband's every move. She sees herself as a victim of a lifetime of infidelities committed by her husband. She sees herself as aided only by her eldest son. In her youth, Cristal was the daughter of a rich man. She belonged to a large family. Her father had 2 wives, the first being Cristal's mother. Cristal has always had a complex relationship with her siblings from both her mother and her stepmother. In her desire to escape from complicated life in a household of siblings from 2 different mothers, Cristal rushed into marriage. Cristal has 5 children, the oldest being her only son, Joey. This has prompted her mother-in-law to nag her son, Mac, to find a second wife to bear him more male children. There is a preference for male heirs. The belief in the 1960s was that more male children would result in a more successful family and more money. An introduction to the sequence of his children cannot be complete without a description of each character. They are all third-generation Chinese Filipinos who see themselves as such and are fiercely Chinois. The youngest daughter is the exception. Throughout the book, the term Chinoy is used interchangeably with Chinese Filipino. Chinoy is a term meaning Chinese Filipinos. Today, they may be Chinese in race, but Filipinos in culture. The first generation is a Chinese born in China who migrated to the Philippines. The second generation is a Chinese born in the Philippines. The third generation is the Chinese grandchildren of the Chinese born in China. The youngest daughter, Samantha, has chosen to immigrate to Canada to be away from the claws of her controlling parents. She also sees Canada as a classier and more sophisticated country. She silently detests her own parents for being lower-class Chinois who have made it rich through dirty business deals. She wishes to wash this dirt off her hands by being away from them. This was an impossible dream that she has had ever since she was 6 years old. She feels that she has been the neglected member of the family. Samantha was born at a time when her father was struggling to build a business. She cannot forgive her parents for having left her in the nursery from the time she was born till the time she was able to walk. Samantha is as cold as ice. She has no conscience. She has no loyalty to anyone. She will do anything to get what she wants. The entire family is manipulative. However, this youngest daughter is more manipulative than the whole family put together. She is the cold, ruthless bitch who wants the best of both worlds. She wants her father's dirty money, but not her family's crude, uneducated upbringing. Her silent ambition is to use her father's money to wash out her crude upbringing in the Philippines. How she wished her father's soap could wash out her poor upbringing. She also loves her Canadian high society life. At 19, she begged her father to send her to Canada to study. Mac T's heart melted. She got her wish despite her mother's fierce protest. She always knew how to manipulate her father to yield to her caprices. After graduation, Samantha T got a job in Canada and saw herself as a respectable lady of class simply by being Canadian. She would adamantly identify herself as Canadian. She is proud that she now speaks with a Canadian accent, a forced Canadian accent though, with undertones of Chinese Filipino twang, which she desperately seeks to lose. Sadly, Canadians can always detect someone who is not truly one of their own. Canadians do not truly welcome this type of foreigner. They see this type of new, rich Chinese Filipinos as immigrants who force themselves into the old, rich Canadian elite. 50-year-old Joey T has returned to the Philippines after a failed business venture in Canada. He migrated to Canada in 1990 with no intention of returning to the Philippines. He was disgusted with how his father had treated him all his life. He now sees his mother as the only one he can trust. He loves his mother with a passion that knows how much his father has hurt her over the years. He has grown up with a deep hatred and resentment for this father who had physically abused him for as long as he can remember. He has not yet fulfilled his revenge on his father. He has not yet made him pay for the years of abuse. The second daughter, Louisa T, has married a first-generation Chinese Filipino by the name of Joe, who now runs the day-to-day operations of Mac Soap Company. Their share of the family business is now 30%, but they are aggressively pursuing a larger share of the business. The third daughter, Miranda T, has married a third-generation Chinese Filipino named Monty Tang. He runs the day-to-day operations of a conglomerate. His father is a major league Chinese Filipino tycoon, Osborne Tang, who owns an empire of businesses under the name Tang West Industries. The fourth and youngest daughter, Samantha, as mentioned earlier, has migrated to Canada and married the first-generation Mongolian-Canadian engineer named Perry Koo. She has manipulated her father into buying a Canadian mansion in the luxurious district of North Vancouver. She wants to be seen with the posh crowd. Samantha's often flashed back to what Max scoffed at her when she was still in the Philippines. Do you think you would have these friends if I didn't have money? Do you think you would be invited to all these parties? This story is about the passage of time and the transition of business. It is a story of life and the struggle to achieve success. After attaining success, however, a price has to be paid in terms of sacrifice, in terms of damaged psyches, in terms of relationships, in terms of passing on the torch. The passing of the torch to the next generation is a realization that life is coming to an end. Some people succeed and others fail in business. But all second-generation Chinese Filipinos will die when their times arrive. At that time, the third generation will have to show the metal they are made of.